have the Ayatollah of Fantasy Rock and Rolla with us today, Adam Rank. How you doing, Rank?
They look great in person, and I just can't wait to next year where we can pack it full of 25,000.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. I didn't know it was Ball Guys Day. It was being ranked. I mean, how do you lose?
This is the Dynasty Vipers ViperCast.
Hello and welcome to the Dynasty Vipers ViperCast. This is episode 172. Joining me here at the top of the hour, the one and only Major Caldwell. How you doing, Major?
I'm good, man. Ready to talk about the combine. This is like my favorite time of the year. The young guys out here balling. I love it.
Yes, we are going to talk about young dudes in their underwear that get Major excited. But first, hey, shout out.
Already, the show just started. We're booing you. Come on.
You know what? It took longer than I thought. Let's be honest. We are fresh off of celebrating International Women's Day here, and just in a few minutes here, Tara Roberts should be joining us as well to kind of go through this combine. Like Major had mentioned here, we are going to talk about the NFL combine. We're going to get into some NFL rookie mock draft season. We're going to talk about some of our combine winners and losers, and of course, we're going to kick off today's show with the news and notes, starting with Derek Carr is now a New Orleans Saint. Major, I'm going to throw this over to you because I got a lot of feelings into this one. So I'm going to kind of give you the floor here for a little bit before I jump in. What do you got for us?
Yeah, and I know that's your Raider and everything. So I'm going to leave some meat on the bone for you. But I'm happy for him. I think he's in a situation where he can actually win. A lot of good young receivers there. The running back situation is kind of a question mark at the moment just because what's going on, off the field. But I'm happy for him because most of the time this thing works out and a player end up on a team that has no prospects of making the playoffs. So I'm happy for him. Hopefully he can show out. Like I think me and you are fans of his, and I want him. I like him more because of what happened to his brother. Like they ruined his brother, and I think they tried to ruin him. And I think there's an opportunity for him to, take his game to that next level, kind of like a Matt Stafford or who else got traded and kind of won, that type of story. So I'm happy for him, and the floor is yours.
Well, I want to say this right now. Whoever was in or out of Derek Carr before he went to New Orleans, while he was a Raider, bring that same energy today. Because it's funny because everyone seemed to like to whip Derek Carr.
Always.
And here's the thing. Now all of a sudden, Derek Carr is the best free agent quarterback on the market. Now all of a sudden, he's going to be there to make Chris Olave this great player or make him get to that next level. Yes, Derek Carr can hit the deep ball, but let's not pretend that you guys were talking about how Derek Carr couldn't let it rip just a couple seasons ago. You guys cannot pick and choose what serves your narrative. You really can't. Derek Carr is what he is. We know what Derek Carr is. And for whatever reason, mainstream media, fantasy enthusiasts never gave Derek Carr his due. Now, I've seen this go around where people kind of said, well, Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton, they have the same completion percentage, the same this, the same that as Derek Carr did last season. Derek Carr also played a little bit shorthanded. Sure, he had Devontae Adams. We get that, but Hunter Renfrow wasn't there. Darren Waller wasn't there. These weapons that we thought that Derek Carr was going to have last season never were on the field at the same time, and they certainly were never on the field healthy at the same time. I think Derek Carr is going to do good things in New Orleans. I really do. I don't think Derek Carr was the problem there in Las Vegas. I just think he happens to be the scapegoat.
Right.
Now, Derek Carr cannot be responsible for the defensive side of the ball. I don't think Derek Carr's ever had a good defense in his whole tenure with the Raiders organization. New Orleans, they have that defense, right? We've seen New Orleans play. They can pull out Marcus Davenport and Cameron Jordan there off the edge. Those are two of the best bookends in the game, or at least Cameron Jordan's been one of the best in a long time. Davenport has all kinds of potential. We know that this Saints team has potential because no one else in that NFC South has a quarterback. Derek Carr's already the best quarterback in the division.
True.
And it's not particularly close. We're looking at Desmond Ridder. We're looking at Kyle Trask. And I'm not even sure who's under contract there in Carolina. But either Matt Carroll may be the quarterback right now for the Carolina Panthers heading into the draft season.
Somebody, yeah.
Absolutely. We know we've talked about this musical chairs at the quarterback position, who's in, who's out. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are going to be on the market, but no real difference makers. And I think Derek Carr, while he's not in that Patrick Mahomes, he's not in that Josh Allen, even that Justin Herbert tier, he's in that tier for fantasy enthusiasts in which he's going to give you QB 11 to QB 13 type outcome. I mean, that's what he's going to produce each and every year. So I just hope those who were down on Derek Carr as a Raider are still down on him as New Orleans Saint. Those who are on him as a Raider are on him as a New Orleans Saint. Don't be telling me he was trash as a Raider and now he's this great player for the Saints.
You know that's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
It's already happening. I remember my buddies, my friends, our good friend Calvin Shoemake there. He would also give me the gears on Derek Carr a little bit. I said, hey, look who you're getting here. I said this a couple of weeks back. You guys are going to end up with Derek Carr. He goes, I love Derek Carr. Kelvin did that with tongue in cheek because he knows how I feel about him. I like this move for the Saints. I really do. I think he's going to help out Chris Olave. I think if Michael Thomas doesn't get cut or designated as a June 1st casualty, I think Michael Thomas benefits from him too because Derek Carr is not afraid to check the ball down either. So that's where Michael Thomas and his slant abilities come in handy. Now, another quarterback that was on the market, and I'm going to turn this to you because Lamar Jackson, he got that tag. We knew it was coming. We knew that the Baltimore Ravens were going to tag him at about $32 million. Now, I know exactly where I want to go with this, and I don't – no owner wants to give Lamar Jackson a fully guaranteed contract in which Deshaun Watson got with the Cleveland Browns. This is – a bunch of owners here that don't want to pay a man what he's worth. They don't want to guarantee a man. And hey, we're all about securing that bag. We're all for the players securing that bag. And this seems to be coming down to that guaranteed money and fully guaranteeing that contract. Lamar Jackson, hey, we're both in agreement. Lamar Jackson is a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson. I don't think that's even an argument right now.
Right.
But he's making all of his contract 100% guaranteed. And the owners, they don't want to guarantee nobody 100% of anything. So I think that is where we're seeing this. Teams come Miami, Atlanta, Las Vegas go, no, we're not interested in Lamar Jackson. Yeah, right. Of course you're interested in Lamar Jackson. Stop it. Stop it right now. You're just trying to bring the price tag down on a contract, so to speak. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Your thoughts on Lamar Jackson?
Honestly, I think all this has to do with him representing himself. If he had an agent, all this stuff would have went away. But this is it's not setting a good precedent for the league. If a man representing himself can guarantee himself, guaranteed money or whatnot, that's not going to fly in the NFL. They're not going to let you do that. They're always going to have somebody else taking little money here out of your pocket, little money over there out of your pocket. So that's just how the business is structured, and they don't want to mess up that structure. So a lot of this has to do with him representing himself, injuries and all that other stuff. I think, football players get hurt. NFL teams have insurance policies and stuff like that. So I don't think it has to do anything with that. But the disrespect to me comes when everyone else, like I said, the way the structure is, whoever's the next man up will become the highest paid. You are a former MVP. You are one of the biggest names in the whole sport. Even if you don't win, you still win because you're making money. Your jersey sales are at the top. Like, all that stuff matters. Like, a lot of fans just get stuck on the wins and loss column. But a lot of times you got to start looking at jersey sales and attendance and all that stuff. And Lamar's always at the top of that as well. So even when they don't win in the win-loss column, the teams and organizations still win off the players and their likeness and the jerseys and all that other crap that they sell. And Baltimore's been sold out. It's a loyal fan base. That fan base loves Lamar Jackson. So again, like I said, it's way more than just football and X's and O's. It's all about him representing himself.
Well, we've seen players represent themselves and get decent contracts out of this.
Right.
I mean, he's not the first person to do this. Now, we heard Toupee wearing Florio. He was talking about this the other day, and Sims, they were talking about this, and how Lamar Jackson missed out on a shoe deal. Stop it right now. If I'm a company wants a shoe deal, why wouldn't I want the best running quarterback in the game today?
It only makes sense.
Stop it. You don't need an agent to put Lamar Jackson's name on Nike, Adidas, New Era. I don't care what it is. Puma. It don't matter. It don't matter. Give me the best running quarterback in the game. I will slap his name on my shoe. You know what? I'm going to go make some shoes right now. I'm going to call Lamar Jackson right now.
Please don't. Those things will fall apart as soon as he put them on.
You know what, though? It won't matter. Lamar Jackson will still run for 700 yards. That's how good my shoes are.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
But
question for you
this.
before we go to the next thing. Question for you. So if you are a GM, let's say you're the Jets, let's say you are I know you like Atlanta for him, even Miami, would you give those 2 first-round picks?
Yes. Hey,
Easy.
Lamar Jackson on your organization is a sweatpant riser, okay?
Right.
That's exactly what he is. He gets me excited. You put him in Las Vegas, and I'm going to get excited. It's really that simple. Major, don't think about it. Don't put too much thoughts into this, right? If you're not excited about if you're a San Francisco 49er fan, I don't care if you got Brock Purdy. I don't care if you got Trey Lance. If you get an opportunity to get Lamar Jackson, you bring in Lamar Jackson. Could you imagine Lamar Jackson, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk? Are you kidding me? Like, seriously.
Right.
We've got
Think
our
about
own
him in Miami with all that speed and just add more. Come on, man. It's crazy.
Sit in Miami. Start your very own 4x100 team right there in South Beach, right? You got the next Olympic team right there in your backfield. Now, you look around. We talked about this. Derek Carr's getting about $37.5 million per season. Daniel Jones just signed a contract guaranteeing or getting him over $40 million. And we're talking right now that Lamar Jackson's on the tag at 32. We're talking Patrick Mahomes, $45 million per season seems to be one of the better deals out there right now in the National Football League. You mentioned you're going to get paid. The quarterback market continues to rise with the next big thing. And that right there, when we talk about the guys who make the business decisions, I think that is why they do not want these guys to get that fully guaranteed money, because that means the next player is going to get fully guaranteed. The next player, the next player, the next. It's always going to be the next. Now,
so
speaking of the
lesson here, though, the lesson is sign your quarterbacks early. Like, don't wait till the last minute. You see, you got to deal with Patrick Mahomes, like you just mentioned. That's how it works. I don't understand why these organizations wait till the very last minute when you have someone that's proven. And we all know it's so hard to find a quarterback. That's probably one of the hardest positions to fill besides like a pitcher. But yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Well, you speak about filling a role, making sure you have the best person available for that job. And guess what? We are welcoming Tara Roberts back to the show. This is the best person for the show. And we are giving her a fully guaranteed $0 per episode contract right now. It's also tied for the high on the team. Again,
yeah, but that's all I want is the guarantee. So
fully guaranteed. Hey, we are fully guaranteed because we are presented by the Fantasy Points Media Group. You head over there today, get that subscription. It's the off season, but that doesn't mean you're not looking to win. And of course, we got Terry here, we got Major here, and we are looking to win. Kind of like Daniel Jones there. We just kind of talked about Lamar Jackson. Tara, Daniel Jones, $40 million. Right move for the Giants?
Yeah, it was the right move. I mean, you guys know that I like Daniel Jones. I am a Daniel Jones supporter, but regardless, I think people are looking at this deal very wrong. Like, this was something that they literally had to do because they didn't take the 5th-year option on him. People keep saying you should have franchise tagged him. That was way too expensive. I mean, when you compare the cost to franchise tag him to the cost of essentially giving him really a 2-year deal. Because when people hear like, oh, 4 years, 6 years, it's never a full year. That's why you have all these guys getting cut. The NFL will cut you before you reach your full contract. They're not fully guaranteed. They have outs. This is more like a 2-year deal. It's very reasonable. So they didn't do anything wrong. This gives them the flexibility. Now they can keep Saquon. Now they can, make some moves at receiver. This was the right choice for them. Otherwise, they would have literally be handcuffed to guaranteeing him a certain amount of money for a year and then trying to figure out what they could do with Saquon, probably losing Saquon. It would have been just a hot mess. This was really the only option that they have. And to defend Daniel Jones, people keep saying like, oh, he only threw 15 touchdown passes. First of all, when you're throwing to literally, no offense to these guys because they stepped up big time, but Isaiah Hodgins, Richie James, and Darius Slayton, that is, no, because they're getting their contracts now, so good for them. But we would not look at that and say that's an elite receiving core that, someone's going to toss 30 touchdowns to. That's just not going to happen. He had an excellent completion percentage, vastly improved that. Turnovers dramatically down, just rushing yards, rushing touchdowns. Overall, this is a good direction for their franchise. Dable's got him on the right track. This was the right move. They can keep all their pieces together and continue to make another playoff push.
Wait, do you guys think that when they heard that tag went on Lamar, do you think they hesitated for a second and let's hold off on this Daniel Jones thing and let's see what's going on over here? No,
I don't think so. I mean, even with that, let's say they went in the market for Lamar. Again, you're saying, okay, we want Lamar, but you're not going to be able to afford Saquon, obviously. So even if you tag Saquon, you've got literally 1 year to make a push, and then boom, he's gone. You can't afford him. So yeah, it wouldn't have made logical sense for them to be able to do that.
Well, you have to feel that as soon as they got Daniel Jones, it was a no-brainer to put that tag on Saquon Barkley at $10.1 million. Major. The tags were flying. We know Evan Ingram, he got tagged at just over $11 million at the tight end position. But we're not going to talk about tight ends. We are going to talk about the running back, Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, all getting tagged at about $10.1 million. Major, as a former running back at the College of the Canyon, home of Marquise Hollywood Brown, maybe the second most famous player to come out of that junior college.
Facts.
What are your thoughts there on these running backs getting that $10 million tag, so to speak?
Bittersweet. I'm happy. That's the best way for running backs to get the money in the league now. They're not going to get these big contracts. So for them to, maximize their earnings, that's the best way is to get tagged and be in that top, 3% or whatever it is. I'm happy for any running back that's getting paid. I kind of want to see what's going to happen to Zeke now. I don't know if he's going to be able to be on a team, if he's going to get moved because they gave that money away. I don't know, but I'm happy for any running back that's making money. And like I said, for running backs, the tag is actually the best possibility of, the receivers and quarterbacks. They can go after the big money, but if you get tagged as a running back, it's actually a pretty good thing.
Well, we've talked about that tag. We've talked about the devaluation, at least as far as money is concerned here, of the running back position, right? Running backs seem to have the least value as far as where that money's coming, the finances come from, because basically you have to feel that NFL teams feel like that's a plug-and-play type position, right? We're watching Josh Jacobs. Another reason, just like Daniel Jones, why is he up for a tag? Because they didn't pick up his fifth-year option. It's really that simple. Pick up their options, man. It's not that hard.
Early, just go early.
Just get that all taken care of. But hey, who says that the Raiders do anything that makes any sense to anybody? Now, I want you guys to try and make sense of this. We're going to play a little game here. We're going to call this Whose Combine Is It Anyway? A little bit of a knockoff of Whose Line Is It Anyway? We're working on it. We're working on some titles here. But Tara, as you know, size isn't as important as some people seem to make it out to be. So one of the combine participants basically said, I've been this size my whole life. Who was it that said that? And kind of what do you say about it? What do you mean by it? Where's this coming from?
Ooh, is it Bryce Young?
It is certainly him.
Which makes sense because usually when someone's like 5'10", they've been 5'10" for a while. Just like Reverend, like it probably happened early and he just stopped growing. I feel your pain on that one. I was 5'2" when I was like 9 years old. Thought I was gonna be special. Yeah. Look, I feel like sometimes we have to look at this and we just have to see like things are changing constantly in the NFL. Last year, you had people swearing up and down that a guy like Devonta Smith could never be successful. And here he is looking like he could be the alpha, literally even over massive AJ Brown. So, I mean, things change. Certain talents can overcome being a little bit on the smaller side, a little bit on the slimmer side. I would have preferred he just like came to the combine at his actual weight and actually showed off. I get why he's waiting for the pro day. There wasn't a ton of upside for him to do that. I would have preferred to just go ahead and see it because we know that that's not his natural playing weight. But yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. I think just this whole size thing, we just need to get over it. Just care about the talent.
5'10", 204 pounds. I'll tell you what, Bryce Young, he didn't look like he was too small to play the position. He looked pretty well built, so to speak, right? He looked the part there. The problem is, and we'll probably talk about this all throughout the entire draft season, right or wrong, that size at the quarterback position is going to play a role in how we evaluate these prospects, simply because could Bryce Young be that outlier? Absolutely. As an Alabama fan here, I've seen him play. I'm not worried about him. I think he makes all the throws. I'm not worried about his size there, but there are going to be people that are going to drool over maybe a bigger prospect that puts mayonnaise in their coffee compared to a quarterback that basically won the Heisman, right? I mean, we're going to see that. We'll talk about that. By the way, Will Levis, you're way down on my board because that's a no-no. You don't put mayo in your coffee. That ain't right, man. It just ain't right. Now, Major, when we look at another one of these things that comes out of here, I guess this is somewhat of a spectacle here. To me, it's more at this point just to be able to sit down with these guys. They get their medical during the week. For us, it's a big part of the interview process. To me, you grade them off a tape. You don't grade somebody off out here in their pajamas running the 40 with no defender around. Who said it and what's it mean?
Oh, I know it's a coach. God, I have no idea who said that. What's the Miami Dolphins coach? What's his name? Was it him?
No, it was not. It was the kneecap biting Dan Campbell from the Detroit Lions.
No, but I get it. Like that's my biggest gripe with the whole process of the combine. Like you tell kids they have to go to college so they can make it to the NFL. So we go out there, you busting your butt, you're doing everything you can, you're getting good film, actual in-game film, but you want me to go to a combine and run in my pajamas and jump up and down and measure me and do all kind of weird stuff. I get it. Like I'm a film person. Like the 40s and stuff is cool. I like to see how smooth people run and whatnot, but the combine to me is almost a waste of time at this point. There's so much technology and so many different ways to a matrix to get the numbers we need to get to make decisions. So I'm with Coach.
I don't hate that at all. I mean, if someone wants, if I had an opportunity to do a job interview in my pajamas, sign me up.
You would
want me to do weird things during a job interview? I am game. But that all being said, he's not wrong.
You can't meet you.
I'm wearing pajamas right now.
I was gonna let you live. I was gonna kill you for a minute, but I'm not gonna let her live because I was like, "Are you wearing PJs?"
It's a fantasy football today shirt.
Oh no, that looks.
Major, we can give her a hard time. You're probably not even wearing pants right now on this podcast, right? No, don't can even see anyway. You live your best life. Let Tara live her best life, and let Dan Campbell live his best life. And speaking of people living their best life, how about someone who started calling themselves Cam Jackson? Tara, who's calling themselves Cam Jackson these days?
Oh, I get all the player quotes. That would be Anthony Richardson.
How you
Cam
get
Jackson.
everything? I study this stuff.
No, I just listened to the combine all weekend.
I did too, but I like watch it with the volume off. Like,
yeah, Anthony Richardson, the two who were the most influential to him, he started jokingly calling himself Cam Jackson back in junior high school. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I don't hate it. I mean, everyone wants to compare you to the latest thing that they saw that was similar to what you do. First off, there is no other Anthony Richardson. He's one of a kind. But if we have to put a player comp, I get why people are using Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton, combining him as Cam Jackson. But Major, you're old enough to remember a guy named Dante Culpepper.
Right.
When I watch Anthony Richardson, I see a lot of Dante Culpepper in him.
I didn't go there, but I'm with you on that. I mean, the speed is a different thing than Dante, but like the size, the power, the arm strength, I'm with you there. But like that 4.4 is something different. We haven't seen that. I mean, the fastest one we've seen was with Robert Griffin, I guess. But other than that, we haven't seen this package before. Pause. But yeah, you know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull up the Dante Culpepper for you. I think it's actually very comparable. I don't think it was that far off, to be honest with you. I think it was. I mean,
he had to run a 4.5. He had high 4.5.
Still, I mean, yeah, but
Culpepper's a big boy. Yeah, he's a big boy.
It just might have looked slow because he was so big.
Right.
That's probably exactly what it was. Because I remember 4.52.
Okay, that's not bad. That's way faster than I thought.
That's impressive, and he was pretty top heavy too. I mean, he was pretty thick down there, but he always had maybe the shoulder pads always gave him that extra like mushroom top looking thing going on. Now I'm going to go back here.
On right now,
it basically looks like me, man. I'm basically a mushroom top. I get it. I look like a pear. I look like a mushroom top. I mean,
let's stop saying that.
I basically go from shoulder blade to calf. Okay, that's how I work back there. Now, Major, I'm going to get you again because, hey, that's what I do on the show. I can't. Which college quarterback said this? I can't help the defenders can't guard my wide receivers. My job is to get them the ball. A lot of these questions about one-sided reads and stuff like that, we have pure progression routes. It's not my fault that my first read is getting open. We have pre-snapped looks, one high, two high safeties, which side, double footwork combo. We have pure progressions with an alert, with an option. Which quarterback is saying this as he was basically told, hey, you only have one read in your play. And he said, you know what? Don't matter if the one read's open, I'm going to throw it.
That got to be CJ Stroud. That dude has 100,000 receivers that can all be in the NFL like today. So, and I get it. The dude is he's right. Like, don't fight the system. And I think if I'm a coach or a GM and I'm in a meeting and he says what he just said, I'm like, yeah, like, why are you trying to recreate the wheel? Like, if you have an open receiver, hit it every single time. You know how hard it is to have a wide open receiver, especially in the NFL, is not going to happen often. So you're going to have to figure it out. So any quarterback that's smart enough to realize the small things in the game, the little details, I'm all for it.
Well, CJ Stroud might have been right, but Major was wrong. That was Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee.
Who's open in Tennessee?
Everyone.
Receivers.
Cedric Tillman, man. Jalen Hyatt. These are two. Hyatt's probably going to go in the first round. Cedric Tillman's probably going day 2, probably in the third round, possibly sneaking into the second.
They're not Ohio State caliber receivers. Like, let's keep it.
They're not Jackson Smith and Jigba, Marvin Harrison Jr. or anything like that. But hey, they can do the job. They get the job done. And Tara,
test.
We're gonna. I'll throw this on back out to both of you because I don't know.
Tara get it right again.
No, we're going IDP for this last one.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
What do you say? And of course, we're going to go. It just kind of happened to work out that all the short kind of quotes came to Tara here. But what do you say to teams that say you're too small to play in the NFL? Said player says dynamite can come in small packages. Which edge player said this?
Look, I'm not even going to lie. I have been studying offensive players aggressively for the purpose of fantasy analysts.
Right.
So no, man, I can't answer that.
I don't think I can answer that either. I mean, we need to phone a friend, Matt. What's the answer?
Well, luckily for you, it's on the show sheet. If you just kind of look over the show sheet, it's actually on there.
We could have cheated.
You could have cheated the whole time. They're all right over there. All of them.
So
all the
thanks
answers.
for letting us know.
Well, I'm not going to tell you to cheat. I mean, we're trying to keep this honest. How about Nick Herberg out of Wisconsin?
I don't even know who that is, bro. Like, What?
Man, if you want to get in these IDP leagues, Major, you better start.
I'm an IDP guy,
So
but
we're in the IDP leagues. No.
I stream my IDPs. I don't go for the rookies and all that stuff. I'll find whoever's out there in the free agency. But yeah, that's a good one, Matt.
Well, speaking of free agency, you got to look no further than Grinds.
Oh,
There we go, Grinds. Hey, whether you're looking to kick a bad habit, give yourself a little bit of energy, or cut back on the caffeine, Grinds has you covered. But a quarter cup of coffee in every single pouch. Hey, I enjoy it. I got one in right now. That being said, they're still not paying for the show. I just thought I should throw it out there because why not?
We got a new sponsor. I'm like, go ahead, Matt.
No, it just makes it sound legit. I'm just going to start grabbing random things around me from time to time.
Let's go to the
Today's
store
show-
and be like, Sprite.
Sponsored by
Today-
50.
Right.
Today's show brought to you by Swing Line Staplers. Hey, big things come in tiny packages.
And they never bind. And look, we're good at pitches. So if you guys have some products, come our way. You see what Matt just did? We just freestyled this. Let's go.
Come on,
Slide
Rihanna.
things in there.
Right, Rihanna needs to step
Oh,
up.
there we go. We can get this working. We can get this working here. Now, hey, whether you think my pitch is a winner or a loser, it doesn't matter because we're going to talk about combine winners and losers. Major, can you give me a win? Give me a winner, give me two winners, give me two losers. I don't care. Give me something here from the combine this past week.
So for my winner, I mean, Anthony Richardson stole the show. I mean, we're all pretty much going to agree on that. Just the size, the speed, the arm, even his chat with Coach Mooch, he had it. He handled that very well. To me, hot take, I guess, but I'm starting to hear more and more. But he's my number one quarterback in this draft just because of the size and the speed and the potential. I think the other, I say two, maybe three quarterbacks that's in that race. They just, I feel like they're kind of touching the ceiling already. So with Richardson, I think the potential, I'm a big potential guy. You grab this player and you build your offense around him and you will be a happy guy. But if you take him and try to fit him into something else you're already doing, it's most likely not going to work. But yeah, man, I think Anthony Richardson, I think you may be on the same line, maybe Tara. So I'm going to leave some meat on the bone for you guys. But yeah.
Tara, who do you have as your biggest winner from this combine?
I mean, Anthony Richardson, but I'll also see CJ Stroud because I think him getting out there, showcasing exactly what he does very well, which is to be a technician. He's got the size advantage as well. He got out there, showcased himself. And I think, with Bryce Young not actually being out there, it kind of seemed like he kind of closed the gap a little bit. Now, we love Anthony Richardson, and I can get why, you're, jumping him up to your QB1. But I think before we were kind of looking at the draft and we were saying, okay, it's Bryce Young and then these guys. And now you're kind of looking and you're like, I can see where an organization says, I don't want to take the risk on size with Bryce Young. And CJ Stroud's got everything I need. Why would I not want that automatic package? So yeah, I think he closed the gap. So good for him.
Did you see, I don't know if you noticed, but I think CJ was kind of hanging around Bryce a lot just to show everyone the size difference. I think his agent may have been like, hey, go stand next to him as much as possible. Every time the camera cut to them, they're always standing next to each other and was shoulder, Bryce is at his shoulder. So, I think it was a good mental battle, and he showed his stuff on the field as well.
You know what? That is so high school. I remember all my good-looking friends used to hang out with me, the ugly duckling of the group, just make them look better. You're right. That's exactly what CJ Stroud was doing. That's exactly what Anthony Richardson was doing. You didn't see Will Levis doing that, did you? Will Levis wasn't hanging out with Bryce Young. It's the two other quarterbacks that were right there. So for me, again, I'm with you guys. Anthony Richardson, by all accounts, not only was he an athletic freak, but he is one of my draft crushes. I love this guy. I mean, this is the guy I want as a Raider. I want him on my team. I talk about Lamar Jackson and how excited I am about him possibly being there. Anthony Richardson's the same kind of guy. Huge ceiling. The floor is a little lower on him because he's a little bit more raw, a little more unpolished. But you saw him dropping those dimes, stepping back to his own 9-yard line and dropping it onto the 30. Yeah, I think his arm's okay. I'm not going to worry about that too much. And his interviews with management, you mentioned Mooch. everything that we heard from him talking to different head coaches, management, everything was positive. And how about Nolan Smith, IDP guy, 4.39 40-yard dash, but more importantly, for an edge rusher, 1.52 10-yard split. That's the 99th percentile. I don't care what your 40 is as an edge rusher. I don't care about the 40. Give me that 10-yard split. That is where you find those elite traits in those edge rushers. And that is right up there since 1999 when I talk about that 99th percentile. Now, losers, Major, because it's time to ragdoll on some guys too. So who do you got for your losers?
Yeah, and it's not really. Tara kind of got to it a minute ago. Bryce Young not performing, and then Will Levis not really popping, I think kind of made it kind of shook it up a little bit to where now we are looking at, CJ, maybe possibly the quarterback one, then Bryce, then Anthony, I think jumped Will, and then Will may even be jumped by Hooker. So it's like, I think what Tara said earlier kind of made it a little muddier now because of some of the, some people didn't perform and some people didn't really pop. And then also, I think all the wide receivers, they really didn't, no one really stood out. Everyone kind of was like on par with everyone else. So like no one really separated themselves in the combine. So I just think they're not losers. I just think like, hey, you guys should have, this is an opportunity to really take it to the next level. And I don't think anyone really did for the receivers. And I think those quarterbacks just kind of let some people get into the race now.
Tara, do you got any losers?
Yeah, I agree with Major. I think the wide receivers, again, looking at, for us with Dynasty and rookie drafts, and it's so weird thinking of a draft and you're not really excited to go up and, grab a big name receiver because there's just nobody that really stood out or really did anything that kind of made you jump and say, oh my gosh, this guy right here. I mean, some guys had, some good performances. I think Zay Flowers kind of maybe moved himself up a little bit, but even Jordan Addison, very disappointed. I guess specifically, if I had to call one out, Jordan Addison, I expected you to be quicker than that, given the size.
40,
that was a little
40.
Yeah. It's kind of like, huh. I needed a little bit more. So no, I don't. A lot of these receivers, they just didn't give me what I was looking for.
It seems that all these wide receivers just couldn't perform with their pajamas on, right? Jalen Hyatt's another one of those guys for me that was disappointing for a guy who's 177 pounds. And I've seen him on the film. I've seen him beat dudes as a wide receiver. I didn't see that in the 40. I mean, it was kind of a disappointing number for me. You talk about these wide receivers. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba there kind of set himself apart from these other wide receivers. And everyone's like, oh, he's only a slot guy anyway. I'm like, have you not seen how this NFL is going? Cooper Kupp, he's just a slot guy. That's okay. He's done pretty good for himself. I mean, you look at these Quentin Johnson, another good one you guys mentioned there. None of these wide receivers, Jordan Addison, are screaming at you, but you've seen what they've done on tape. So this is where you kind of have to separate the tape from the underwear Olympics, so to speak, and kind of make your own thought process of how it all kind of worked out when it was all said and done. For me, Kenny McIntosh. I was expecting more out of this back out of Georgia. I was thinking that, hey, this is the kind of guy who can catch 30, 40 balls per season with a prospective club moving forward. But 4.62 on that 40. Now, that was slower than I expected for a guy who had satellite or scat back potential, right? That's kind of major. You agree with me here. When you watch Kenny McIntosh, you see him as kind of a scat back, third down kind of guy, but at 4.62 seconds, that's probably not going to get the job done. Now, it's just not that. And then the other guy I looked at was another edge rusher, Andre Carter out of Army. Man, first off, how is Army not a better team? I mean, you think the team sponsored basically by the Army would have a lot better athletes than some of these other teams, right? And they'd definitely be – there's teams out there like the Trojans, and they're basically named after historical armies that still beat the Army. But we're not even going to go there anytime soon. But Andre Carter is basically – I loved his tape. He is a speed rusher, but those pedestrian numbers in the vertical and the broad jump, they don't scream explosiveness. I need that 10-yard split, and I need to see a vertical and broad jump. Why do I need to see the broad jump, and why do I need to see the vertical? Because that's going to tell me how explosive you are coming off of that line. And if you're already an undersized prospect and you're not getting that explosiveness off the line, what are you? What is your potential? What is your ceiling moving forward? And so for me, the tape didn't match what I saw in the combine. I saw a good player on the tape, maybe playing against some weaker competition, and now I don't see that explosiveness. So for me, that kind of knocked him down a little bit. I think if you go to like PFF and do a mock draft or whatnot, I think he's coming off the board as a 54th ranked player, somewhere in that ballpark. That number is certainly going to drop as we go. But speaking of dropping, we're going to talk about some risers and some fallers here. The next part of the show brought to you by Froster Slurpees. Whenever you need a little bit of a cool down, hey, it don't matter. Grab yourself a Slurpee.
Why?
Why? Because we can. No. We're not by the restraints of corporate America here.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'm in Canada and they can't touch me. But now, Major, when we look at some of these fantasy risers, some of these fantasy fallers, how about the top quarterback? I mean, you've already alluded to this guy already based on his ceiling. Is there anything more we can say about Anthony Richardson?
I don't think so. Like, I just hope he gets into an opportunity, kind of like how Mahomes kind of fell into the lap of Kansas City, and they kind of built the thing around him, let him kind of do what he's best at, like doing behind the back passes and all kind of crazy stuff. Like most coaches would have said, hey, stop doing that. And I think that would have took away some of his magic. So hopefully they get Anthony somewhere where a coach is open to letting him do what he does best and not trying to change him, because that's the NFL love to change people. So yeah, I think Anthony Richardson, like I'm really high on him. Like you got like a LeBron James type of athlete playing quarterback. So it's like I'm excited to see what happens with that.
Tara, what about you? Who's your top quarterback?
It's still going to be Bryce Young. I get the performances that everyone else put on, and I won't go as far as to take the weird shots that Nick Saban took today against all the other quarterbacks. Seemed a little bit unnecessary. That was like,
that's Nick Saban being Nick Saban. Let's be honest.
No, he usually doesn't do that. That was weird and very specific. I don't know, man. Like that was like, yikes, what kind of resentment do we have going on here? I won't take those shots, but I think you still got to go with the guy who has it all and can literally just, I think that he can just be an exception to what we would typically see at that size.
And speaking
There's
of
always
size,
a first.
oh, well, okay, he could be that outlier. He could be that Drew Brees-esque type quarterback for a franchise. We saw the tools there. I mean, I'm not too worried about that either. For me, I'm going to go with CJ Stroud. I've been warming up to him more and more as the process has been going on. My biggest concern for him was that accuracy to a degree and getting off that first and second read. But turning on that tape against Clemson, Tara, you should remember this. CJ Stroud, he was pretty good getting that second and third read in that contest. So that tape kind of cleaned things up for me moving forward. Now, sleeper quarterbacks, Major. Who is that sleeper quarterback that you got an eye on that maybe you're willing to take a shot at a little bit later?
Yeah, I got a couple. I like Dorian Thompson-Robinson out of UCLA. He ran well. He threw well. He just looked like a leader. And I think he threw the fastest ball ever in the combine, I think. I don't know if I heard that right or not. And I don't know why, and I can't put my finger on it yet, but I like Max Duggan. Like, I don't know why, because he doesn't pop anywhere. He's not like the fast. Actually, he ran pretty fast. 4.52 is pretty fast, especially for a quarterback. So I don't know. Keep an eye on Max. He kind of remind me of that sleeper I was talking about last year that, kind of took a team on a run, the 49ers. But yeah, keep an eye on Max and DTR. That sounds weird. We got to come up with a nickname for him. Yeah.
Max Duggan, you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of Pirate Steve from Dodgeball.
He does. Hey. No, but he's a baller though. He has that it factor. I don't know what it is. He has that it thing that I don't know. I'm good at finding that it thing in players,
After the show, I'm going to put Max Duggan to Pirate Steve's outfit, and you're gonna see where I'm going with this. spot on. Absolutely spot on.
Maybe.
So I guess, Tara, what sleeper quarterback has your eye?
If I had to pick one, and no one really stood out to me as being able to actually push up and compete with those top four.
Right.
But I do think that Hendon Hooker has all the capabilities, and the only real knock on him that they have is, hey, he's an old guy. Like, okay, well, that doesn't mean that he can't step in there and be productive. It just means that teams aren't going to want to invest at a certain level in him. And obviously, injury and all, he might not be able to make an immediate impact. But I think that, a team could get him, and maybe they look at him, next year, the year after that or something. I think at some point he can get that opportunity to showcase, and I think he has it all together.
Hey, we're not ageist over here. Chris Winkie won the Heisman Trophy for Florida State at the age of 28. So Hendon Hooker,
Well,
he's got to be younger than 28.
Reference, though.
I'm about to say, I don't know if you want to compare yourself to Winkie.
That's a very specific memory for me. You guys remember, I grew up in South Carolina, so I was forced to watch a lot of that.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, me too.
All right,
I like Winkie. I'm sorry. I'm like Winkie.
That's all right. Maybe grocery bag slinging Kurt Warner's maybe a better reference. He got a little bit older when he got his first opportunity there. We've seen this a few times where quarterbacks have taken a little while. Hendon Hooker's my guy too. I mean, we're looking at a guy who's probably going to be overlooked a little bit because of that ACL injury. We're talking about a guy who's probably going to get overlooked a little bit because of his age, right or wrong. And we're talking about a guy who has all the physical attributes that some of these top quarterbacks, the Strodes, the Youngs, the Anthony Richardson's, when we talk about that ability to escape the pocket and make plays on the run with his arms and his legs, that's what Hendon Hooker can do. So you've got that quarterback with that ceiling. Why not take a shot at that? I'd rather take a shot at him over some of these other guys like Pirate Steve and Dorian Robinson there. I mean, give me a little Hendon Hooker a little bit. I like that a little bit more. So it gives me a little bit more.
Get a Hooker, what?
See, why you gotta go take it that way? Come on, this is a professional show.
Is it?
No. But hey, so we're gonna slide in a tight end now. We're gonna go straight from transition from Hendon Hooker to the tight end position here. And Major, give me your top tight end.
My top tight end is Michael Mayer. Like, he's a Grunk-like player. The 4.7 kind of turned me off just a bit, but the tight ends it's a lot of talent, but again, it's almost like the receivers where everything is kind of muddy and everyone's no one's really standing out. But to me, his film makes him stand out, more than all the others. So I'm gonna go with Mike.
And Tara?
I agree with Major. I mean, I think the separation is a little bit less, but I still think he'll be the first tight end off the board.
There you go. You got two for Magic Mike, and I'm going with Dalton Kincaid here because I just like what this guy brings. I think he's the best pure pass catcher of this tight end group. Now, when we look at this, we're going to move on here to sleepers. Major, who do you got in your tight end sleeper?
I'm going to go with Luke Musgrave out of Oregon State. I think he was maybe the highest rated tight end in the combine. He ran at 4.6. That's pretty fast for a tight end.
A big tight end, too. He's a big dude.
I was just about to say a big dude who can run and he can block and he can do pretty much everything you can do. So, like, watch out for him. Out of all the tight ends, I think he has the most complete game. Or I'd say maybe towards the top. And he doesn't have the best, but he's in that top 3.
He got that sneaky speed now. Tara, who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I guess this isn't much of a sleeper, but I do think because technically he could, if anyone I think could maybe be go over Mayer as the first tight end off the board. I think Darnell Washington could be that guy. I mean, when you kind of look at all of the things that he has, not just from a fantasy football perspective, but from like a real tight end perspective, that's a guy who that kind of size and that blocking, I mean, you want that on your team. And then you can add the batted bonus of him being athletic and being able to catch. I mean, if he can make big strides on that, you can get to George Kittle level if you really try.
That one head catch kind of turned me off. I don't know why, because everyone blew it out of proportion. So I was like, I'm kind of off of him a little bit, but yeah, I hear you. You made a good point.
Like that he can catch, right. Not a project.
Gotcha.
Well, Major, you might have been turned off by it, but I was turned on by it, and I put him way up my board after that. I mean, we're talking about one of the few inline tight ends in this draft. Tara kind of mentioned he can do it inside, he can do it outside. I think you got to feel pretty comfortable putting him in your lineup, but he's going to be in there to run block. He's going to be able to catch some passes. So I do have him. I was like, is he considered a sleeper still? I don't know, but that's why I kind of slid him in there. Now, Major, we're going to go to you here again. We're going to talk about the running back position here. Who is the second best running back? I mean, we know who the number one running back is. It's Bijan Robinson, without a question about that. But then after that, it's pretty much a wide open field here. So who do you have taking that number 2 spot?
See, I think the question should be who's the third, because I think Gibbs is kind of like solidified himself as that number 2, and I think the 3 and beyond are all like kind of all over the place. But my guy is Tajee Spears. I mean, I don't think he didn't run the 40, but he performed well in the drills. He looked good. But Zach Chambers, what's his name? Charbonnet. Charbonnet. There you go. He is a baller, dude. That guy, he can play. I liked him in Michigan, but when he came to UCLA, he actually showed you a little bit more versatility in his game. So that's a player to really keep your eye on. If he falls into a right situation, he can do some things that at his size and running. I think he ran a 4.5. I just wanted him to run a 4.5. To me, my favorite football player is always between a 4.4 and a 4.55. Those that in between there's, if you run a 4.2, you're too fast for me. If you run anything less than that, you're too slow. So he's watch out for him, man. That dude's a baller.
And you got to watch out for my 4.520. I mean, I ran that pretty hard back in the day. For me, I'm not all about the Charbs. I try and keep the Charbs away from me as much as possible. So Charbonnet, he's not there. I'm going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm going to take the easy out here with the Alabama running back as my number 2 back. So, Tara, who do you guys your top back outside of Bijan Robinson? And I guess Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, Gibbs is the clear number 2 for me. I don't think that one's a question, but I agree with Major. It's more of the 3, and it is Charbonnet for me. That's my clear number 3. Like, so when I look at him, although A.J. Dillon has not been given the opportunity to be a true, 3-down back, obviously that was well within his wheelhouse to be able to do so. And that's a guy that I think is a good comp for Charbonnet. He's a big bruising back. This is a big guy, but he can catch the ball as well. And I think sometimes I love, obviously, Matt knows, I love PPR. I love my pass catching backs more than anything in the world. Shout out to Austin Eckler. But sometimes we get a little bit
I see a lot of Eckler in his game too.
Yeah, I think sometimes we look for not to knock Gibbs, obviously, still fantastic, but I think sometimes we overlook the pass catching ability of these bigger guys. Like a lot of people thought, oh, AJ Dillon can't catch. AJ Dillon is a dynamic pass catcher. It turns out you just gotta give these guys the opportunities, and I think Charbonnet can be a guy like that.
Well, I like that. Major, are there any sleepers that are pass catching type backs that you're kind of got dry on?
So many. Like this draft is so full of running backs. It makes me so excited. But yeah, Rashawn Johnson out of Texas, a big back who can catch the ball. I was a little disappointed in his 40 time. He was more, I think he ran a 4.56, 4.58. I wanted him that, run at 4.4. I mean, the 4.55 range. I like Chase Brown a lot. Chase Brown is a baller. He ran very well. I think he ran a 4.4. Powerful back. I think he measured in like at 5'9", maybe 5'10-ish. So he has good size on him. And then Muhammad Ibrahim is like one of my favorite backs. He just been injured so much. Like I hate when running backs get injured, but that dude, he is a baller. Hopefully, he can find some health and kind of do his thing. He performed okay at the combine, but I don't think he really did that well at the combine, but I'm still a fan of his. I've been a fan of his for almost 3 years now. But he just kept getting hurt. So those are 3 guys, but I really like Johnson. Johnson doesn't really get the acclaim because he played behind one of the best running backs we've seen since maybe who's the last
Probably Barkley.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe Barkley was the best one. Like, so he doesn't get any recognition, but the dude is shifty, 6 foot, maybe 220, and can move. So I'm a big fan of his.
And Tara, who do you got your eye on as a sleeper back in this draft? I know for me, I'm going with Dwayne McBride there out of UAB. Another one of those little scat back kind of guys can make things happen. Who do you got?
I agree with Johnson, but I will also throw out Sean Tucker from Syracuse. I think when
I
you look
like
at
him a
him,
lot.
like he's somebody who I could see being a smaller, actual 3-down back. He's got a lot of great qualities. He can do it all.
I like him a lot. That's a good call.
And then speaking of those pass catchers, talk about the wide receiver position. For me, Jackson Smith and the Jigba, he solidified himself as that top wide receiver here in this upcoming draft, just on that combine performance there. Tara, Major, who do you got?
Go ahead, T.
Jordan Addison. I know I said I was disappointed. JSN in theory, yes, but if I had to go with something else, I would say Jordan Addison. I'm kind of scared of Quentin Johnson, so I would still go that direction of trusting Jordan Addison.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Zay Flowers. Like before the draft, I think he was weighing in like at 165 or something. He came to the draft at like 185, and they did a comparison of him and Steve Smith, and that kind of opened my eyes a little bit. And Zay has like that shiftiness that you don't really see too much. So like that start and stop, he may be the fastest in the draft. So that's he's moving up my boards a little bit.
Is he moving up any quicker than? Go ahead.
Sorry, it's just laughing because they're saying like what's going on with Boston College's weight room. Like
Exactly.
obviously something is like whatever they've got, they figured it out because it's working for their guys. They're jacked. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been known to work down the Boston College weight room a time or two.
You can't even spell weight room, but let's keep going.
WAIT. Come on now. No,
Waiting room.
What about the sleeper wide receivers? You got one for me that's maybe moving up the draft board, maybe quicker than Zay Flowers?
My favorite receiver in this draft is Rashid Rice. That dude is a baller. He ran well. I wanted him to hit that 4 or 5 range, and he hit that. He's a big receiver, maybe a big slot receiver. Kind of remind me of I can't remember anyone's names right now. I'm drawing blanks, but gosh, who's the guy that played for the Cardinals and then he went to Baltimore? Big dude. Gosh, what is his name? I had all this stuff. That's why we need to write stuff down because you forget when the cameras is on. So let's just say that I like a big receiver who can run and do his thing in the slot. So shout out to Rice.
And then Tara, who do you got kind of going? Which wide receiver do you think can move up the boards?
Well, I mean, Major already named him his one. It was going to be Zay Flowers. This was my guy that was moving up in my sleeper. But
yeah,
so there you go. Major already gave him and anointed him.
All right. And then for me, I'm going to go to Wake Forest here. And I'm going to take a run here at A.T. Perry here.
I like it.
I mean, there's just something about this dude that it's got me excited. I think you're going to get him late in the 3rd round of rookie drafts, maybe even early 4th round. With that all being said, let's see if we can power off a quick mock between the 3 of us. Major, you pick 1. Terry, you pick 2. I'll pick 3. I'll put the thing up on the board here, and we'll kind of go through this as quickly as possible here, just so we can get something kind of going here. So let me just try and pull up on my screen here, share my screen, and then just kind of talk ourselves through this here a little bit and see what we kind of give people a little bit of a heads up of what a mock draft could possibly look like. So Tara, Major, you were number 1, right?
I'm gonna go with the running quarterback. Let's like mix it up a little bit.
And then Tara, who are you taking at number 2 here in the Superflex draft?
I'm taking Bijan. Thank you.
That's for Women's Day or whatever's going on. You know?
Well, I think we're going
all the work.
Yeah, I'm doing all the work here. For me, again, I'm going to go with for Superflex. I'm going to go with CJ Stroud. I just talked about him being my number 1 quarterback. I'm going to make sure I get my number 1 quarterback here in the 3 spot. Major, who do you got at number 4?
You know, I'm going with Gibbs.
Go with Jahmyr Gibbs. All right, I can see how that could work out for you there. Tara, who you got at 5?
Man, I wish I could combine this team. I get to go with Bryce Young and Bijan Robinson.
That's amazing.
Whoa.
Happy birthday and Christmas.
That would not be a terrible start to anything there. So then at 6 it becomes interesting because the top 2 running backs are off the board. The top 3 are the quarterbacks are off. The top 2 running backs are off. I mean, you got to here, you got to go with the number 1 wide receiver. And for me, obviously, we talked about this earlier. It's Jackson Smith and the Jigba there. I'm going to go slide him in there. So that's your top 6 picks. Major, you got number 7 here. Who do you got?
I think I want to go with a receiver. Gosh, you took the one I wanted. I'm gonna go with. Let's go with Zay. Let's go with Zay Flowers there.
See, now that some people may think that's a bit of a stretch there,
I
taking
don't
him
think
this
so.
early in the draft.
Get
I
your
think
man.
I think he moved his way. Never say that about me ever again, Tara. Thank you very much. But I think he moved his way up into that top 3, 4, top 5 for sure. So
All right, Tara, 108. Who do you got?
Will Levis, come on down.
Going back to the quarterback, grabbing that last of the big 4 quarterbacks, so to speak, right? And then at number 9, this is where it gets kind of interesting because I think this is where there's more options out there than you probably want right now. So if you look at the wide receiver position, you got Addison, you got Johnson there. Those kind of the kind of guys you're looking at. Charbonnet, running back, if you're looking at that. So depending on how you want to construct your team, one of those options are going to be there more than likely. For me, for this experience, I'm always old school here. So I'm going to go with the running back. And let's go with your guy here. Let's go Charbonnet.
Oh, that's my
Let's go
pick.
Charbs.
Sniped.
Mostly because I knew Major was up and now I have to make him think.
I just got sniped. Good job. Good job. So you took my guy, so I'm gonna go with my other guy. I'm gonna go with Tajay Spears right there.
Now, Major is I gotta get Major in my leagues because he seems to be going a little bit more off the board than maybe.
I'm always off the board. I love doing that.
And then Tara, who do you got here?
Oh, I see. I am going with. I promise I'm not picking off the top right here. I'm going with Jordan Addison.
Good call.
And then I'm going to just kind of pull this off. You guys got the screen there in front of you too, right? Through the links.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to take this off here just to make it a little bit easier on my eyes because I've got the big screen and the small computer working on me. So at 12, again, I'm looking at these positions here, and I'm looking at Quentin Johnson sitting here at 112. I think that's a no-brainer for me right now to grab him. This late in the draft feels like good value there. Now back to you, Major, at 201.
Let's go with the tight end and give me my guy, Mike Mayer. I like calling him Mike Myers, but yeah. Baby Gronk.
All right. And then Tara at 202.
I cannot see who is. I think I'm really going to go running back here, though. And my next running back is who is my next running back?
Well, top ones right now would be Tucker.
I'm going to go
Miller.
with. I'm actually going to go with Devin A-Chain.
All right. See, that's the one we haven't really mentioned a whole lot here because speed kills, and he's got it in bunches there. He's one of the faster running backs in this group. So I've seen him go there earlier this season, or earlier in a lot of mocks. So I can see that working out for you. Now, again, I'm looking at wide receiver. Some of these guys just didn't quite do it for me. So you know what? I'm going to stick to my board here now after watching everyone kind of go. And I'm going to go Kendre Miller out of TCU. I think he's the next guy up on my running back watch list there. So back to you there, Major.
I kind of like okay. You threw a little curveball. Let me see what's going on here. I'm going to go receiver, and I'm going to go with the potential of Quentin Johnson.
Okay, that'd be great if he wasn't gone last round at 112.
Facts. I don't pay attention. That's always been a problem of mine. But I'm gonna go with is Hyatt still out there?
Yes, he is.
Actually, you know what? I don't want Hyatt. I want Mims. I like Mims. He's a sleeper of mine. Run that 4.38, baby.
That's me. I will be going Hyatt.
Yeah, I think Hyatt's probably a good play there. I really like him. I think he's one of those guys who's going to be a first-round selection, and that's where draft capital actually pays off. So I like that pick there for you. And then for me again, I went with team number 6, JSN. He was the first one. So you know what? I can either go running back here, and Tucker's a guy that's been catching my eye, or I go with one of these other wide receivers. And I think Downs is that guy who could possibly still slide into that first round of the NFL draft. And draft capital means something. So a lot of these running backs, I think for me that are on the board, I'm not sure if they're going to be workhorse type backs anytime soon. At least I know if these wide receivers are probably going to get a little bit more play. Now, Major, at 207, who do you got?
Let me get that receiver at the top there. Is that Butte?
That is the booty.
Yeah, like that's a person. They're not talking about him that much. I think he kind of go under the radar a little bit. He ran that 4.5. I like receivers that run the low 4.5s. I love it.
Well, I think that's because he ran himself off the radar there at the combine. I think he is one of those guys that hurt himself a lot more than helped himself. Tara, they're at 208.
4.5 is people don't understand how fast a 4.5 is, especially when you're a receiver. You have to stop and go all the time. You know.
Yeah, I feel you. I know how fast a 4.5 is. That's why I can't do it.
I am gonna go running back. I will go Tank Bixby.
I like Tank. I don't think he
Let's go
performed
with-
as well as I thought he was going to perform, but I
Yeah.
still like him.
Well, I'm going to keep up the theory here. I'm going to stick with the running back position. And you know what? Let's go Team 9. We got Charves there. Let's give him Sean Tucker here while we're at it.
Damn, he
Just gonna
keeps sniping me, dude.
And that puts you on the clock here at 210, Major. Who do you got?
Give me Deuce Vaughn. That's one that nobody talking about. That man right there is the next coming of what's his name that played the Eagles? I don't remember anyone's name right now. I don't know what the hell's going on with
Darren
me.
Sproles? Come on
Darren
now, Major. Come
Sproles.
on.
My brain is not working right now at all.
Oh, me. We're gonna go with not the best. We're gonna go with Zach Evans. It could.
He
I
performed
could
well.
see where they're. Yeah. I can see where this can go somewhere.
It could work. And then if you remember at 112, we went with Quentin Johnson there, which was, I feel, a pretty big steal there at the wide receiver position. I'm looking at some of these other wide receivers. Nothing's really catching my eye right now. So I think I'm going to go with the tight end position here, actually, and go with my guy, Dalton Kincaid. So if you believe that Johnson's your number one wide receiver on the board, which, some people might still have him up there, then you grab my number one tight end on the board. So you got to feel pretty good about that. Two potential top players at their position. Major, third and final round for us here. Who do you got at 301?
Let me go with Rice. Let's get Rice off the board. That's one of my guys, too.
Everyone's a Majors guy. If you haven't figured this out on the show, Major loves all the players.
No,
Here
I
at
got
302.
people I like, man.
Michael Mayer.
Going back to the tight end position, and that would have been a great
It
selection.
would be good if
Major
it
had
wasn't
taken
in
a
the
201.
first round. Oh, second round?
Yeah, you took him at 201 there.
Oh, my
Hey,
bad.
pay attention.
Well then, Darnell Washington.
The can't fault there on that one. We like ourselves some Darnell Washington. He may become a fan favorite of this show here before too long when it's all said and done.
I don't think I'm going to be a hater.
And that brings it up to me here. We are looking at 303 wide receivers available. There's one of my guys there. I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. But this team doesn't have, you know what? I know Major's coming up right away, and I just feel like Rashawn Johnson should go right here.
Oh, you are a man.
Now I'm just picking because I know who's picking behind me.
All right. I hate people like you. You make it so frustrating to play this game here. So I'm gonna go. You took my guy. Now I gotta think a little bit. That's messed up. Is Chase Brown still on the board?
He's still available. Yep.
Let's go with Chase.
All right, we'll give you Chase Brown there. Tara, who do you got at 305?
Show me those receivers available.
We got ourselves a little Puka Naku there, A.T. Perry, Jaden Reed, Cedric Tillman, Xavier Hutchinson, Charlie Jones, Nathaniel Dell, Tank Dell for those who are hip to it, Parker Washington, C.J. Johnson, Raheem Jarrett, and then we got a bunch of other dudes. Trey Palmer, Tyler Scott, another one of my wide receiver risers.
We're gonna go with Cedric Tillman.
Good one.
It's one of those guys. I mean, we talked about Jalen Hyatt there. We talked about Hendon Hooker. Well, Cedric Tillman is one of those guys that I think is going to make a big difference here. That's probably flying a little bit more under the radar than some of these other wide receivers. For me, again, I love myself some A.T. Perry. Team here in the third round. I got to go with my guy. I just talked about him. If I didn't pick him, I'd be a hypocrite. So we're going to go with A.T. Perry there. And we are stacking Team 6 with wide receivers. So let's hope they have running backs already on their roster. Major, 307.
I'm going to go with somebody that's a sleeper. I'm going to go with my guy, Xavier Hutchinson out of Iowa State, the receiver.
That's another one I'm hearing a lot more people getting behind here recently. A lot of people love him. I know D Brown there out of Fantasy Pros. He's big on Hutch. So, Tara, 308, who do you got?
Running backs. So many running backs. Actually, you know what? Ooh, strike that. Quarterback. We're gonna go Hendon Hooker.
See, that's where I was starting to think about there. 301, that's the spot or 309. That's kind of where I'm looking at the Hendon Hooker's range. So that kind of makes up where it is. Now, for me, when we look at the quarterbacks, that's probably the only quarterbacks that I'm willing to take a chance on in this draft. Unless we get in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. If your rookie drafts go that deep, maybe then is when you could look at some of these other guys like Malik Cunningham, Jaron Hall, Tanner McKee. None of these guys, Stetson Bennett, Pirate Steve, none of these guys to me screams starter potential. Maybe some backups that could get in a little bit here and there, but as far as starting quarterbacks are concerned, I don't see another starting quarterback in this draft behind it after a Hendon Hooker. At 309, running back is still an option here, although this team is kind of constructed mostly running backs. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go with the Pitt running back here, Israel Abakanda.
I'm still not him I don't know. I got to watch more film on him. He didn't really pop to me when I watched this film the first time.
It's a pretty good film. You got to watch it. If you watch it backwards, it's really impressive how fast he can run backwards. Major, who do you got at 310?
Let me see the receivers real quick. I will go with TikTok. Let me go with. Let's go back to
TikToking going on.
Go to
well, as Major continues to figure out what's going on here.
Go with Evan Hall. He had a good combine. Let's show him some love.
I mean, we're giving him the gears here because he took like 32 seconds to make a selection there. Tara, last pick for you.
Slim around here.
We're running back. Dwayne McBride.
That's can't go wrong with that Dwayne McBride guy because you know what, I like him a lot too. So can't fault you on that one. With that being said, I think I got one more selection here, and I've got a screen that doesn't allow me to show everything unless I pull over to the other one. Team 12 went Quentin Johnson, Dalton Kincaid. Some guys I'm looking at here that I like. Tavian Thomas at the running back position is a guy that I think it could get a little bit more. Major was talking about Muhammad Ibrahim there. Eric Ray is a guy that's picked up a lot here at the combine as well.
Yeah, good combine.
I think for me personally, it's going to come down to possibly a tight end here in Luke Musgrave there, except I went with Kincaid already for this team. So for me, I am going to go to Eric Grays, the guy I'm going to take on this team here as my next running back. Maybe it's a little bit early, maybe not. I just saw a lot of good stuff come out of him from the combine, Senior Bowl, all that kind of stuff. So we're willing to take a shot at a guy like that. And I think you should take a shot at fantasypoints.com today because they've got everything you want, including the XFL. You want XFL projections? Fantasy Points has you covered with all of that. You can't get that anywhere else. So go get that subscription to Fantasy Points today. And with that all being said, this has been another edition of the Dynasty Vipers ViperCast with Major Caldwell, with Tara Roberts, and of course, Tara has one last thing to add.
If I had one more pick, I was going to pick Stetson Bennett. Matt.
Why? I mean, he's going to be a good coach. He's going to be a good coach eventually, but like player, doubt it.
Because he's the only one.
Bennett on your team. It's fun. Come on, man.
He's going to be the greatest backup, and he's going to be a good coach in like 10 years.
Look, I think we can get some 10 years out of him. So
if you could pair up Stetson Bennett and Hendon Hooker in 3 years, you have a duo that can go to Denny's at the same time in the middle of the afternoon and order from the same menu and save yourself a few bucks.
You.
The AARP crowd.
The Georgia fans are going to come after you.
Hendon Hooker, Stetson Bennett, they're saving money at Denny's just like you could be saving money at fantasypoints.com. And we'll see you next week. Yes, nailed it.